Hi guys, it's Blackie. Okay, today we're going to talk about a piece of surplus that is near and dear to my heart. Uh, on the surface it's so simple, and yet it has given me so much enjoyment. So many memories I have are linked to this piece of gear, and it was just a cheap piece of surplus. When I was a teenager, probably 16, 17, I went into a local thrift store that, whatever stuff, junk seller, and etc. And hanging on the rack were all these model 1965 field jackets. Now these are the early Vietnam era field jackets. So we're talking about a 10 or 12-year-old jacket. And they had been surplused out for dirt cheap. And so a lot of these little, mom and pop locations had picked them up for the people that didn't have money and etc. And you had a lot of veterans walking around wearing M65 field jackets, a lot of hunters, and I knew a lot of old woodsmen that they were wearing Model 65 field jackets. The jacket that immediately preceded it had been used in Korea and then World War II, and it was just where the same idea had some little revisions from the field, but it was basically the same jacket from the World War II jacket until the Model 65 that I knew it as. But you could look at the different eras and know which one it was, whether it had certain little features or not. And mine had been surplus from 1966, from Vietnam era. And you got to remember, we had just come out of Korea just a few years before that, so our jackets had to be adaptable for cold as well, because we were still facing the Soviet Union, and we knew any day now we're going to be at war, and we're going to be in the depths of Russia, or we're going to be in the Black Forest of Germany fighting in the dead of winter. So all of our clothing had to be adaptable for winter. They had learned where both Napoleon and the Nazi forces had found out you don't go to war without winter clothing issued to your troops, or you lose a lot of people. So the U.S. Army was adapting to that, and they had a very adaptable garment in place. And so when I got mine, it was the cool kids on the block jacket, the army type jacket. And I was seeing it as a field coat, something to go hunting in, something to go camping in, something to spend time in the wood in, because a lot of the men I looked up to, a lot of the men that I really admired, wore a field jacket like this. And it wasn't called a Model 65, it was just the field jacket. And so when I was going with these men, hunting, fishing, camping out, doing whatever, catching hogs, whatever, you saw these jackets. These were the work jackets. And I have seen them just utterly destroyed, where, someone would get tangled up in barbed wire and had to cut them out of it. I've seen them just covered in oil. I've seen them just ripped to pieces because of a wild animal like a dog or something get onto them and bite into the jacket and tear the jacket up. I have seen them in their best and their worst condition. And I found it to be one of the best pieces of gear I ever had for a field jacket. Now even today, I still have, modern jackets. I've got a nice big camouflage modern hunting jacket and etc. with all the wonderful lining, and I keep coming back to my M65. Sadly, my original, which I still have, by the way, but I grew out of eventually, and that was a small short, and now I'll use a large regular. And the bigger jacket is more comfortable. So let me adjust the camera and let me talk to you about some of the little things that at first glance you wouldn't even notice or think about, but why one of these jackets is actually a really good choice to have for WOODSCRAFT bushcraft. So let me show you. Okay, the M65 field jacket. Now I'm going to back the camera out just a little bit and put this on right quick. It has snaps as well as a zipper, so that if the zipper fails, you still got a way to close it. And in certain instances where you might need to get out of it in a hurry, like I'm going to be around something flammable, you didn't use the zipper, you use the snap so you could snatch it off of you. Up here at the collar, it's got a Velcroed little tab so you can go all the way across and close it like a turtleneck up around your neck. I'll show you that in just a second. It's got a nice big YKK zipper. Soft shell inside. And then there's buttons. We'll get to the buttons in a minute. Now, as you notice, it has epaulets. And what are the epaulets for? Well, it's supposed to put rank on it, right? Yeah. What else is it good for? Putting straps on haversacks and stuff. You unhook it, put on your haversack or your other bedroll strap and come across and hook it. And now you don't have to worry about that sliding off your shoulder, do you? This is a carryover from a much earlier era when guys carried haversacks and stuff. You go back and look in World War II, and you see a lot of guys in the film, they're toting extra bundles, extra bags with straps, and they're using these to keep them from sliding off of them. That's what those are really good for. Now, like I said, the snaps. I can come up here and zip it all the way up and go all the way around my neck like that to completely cut off any heat loss around my neck if I need to. Most jackets don't seal up this tight. The field jacket does. On the sleeves. Now the sleeve has this great big wide flap that's got a Velcro on it. It stays folded to the inside. But the advantage to that is if I'm wearing one of those wool gloves, those green wool gloves, I can unhook and come out and actually stick it to the back of the glove and it'll stay stuck. And so now I ain't got to worry about that. Also, Velcro, I'm able to pull it up and close it up around my hand like that with that loop out. Now I've got something when I put a bigger over glove on, my hand can move and I don't end up with that big old gap and all that cold air. I can keep the cold air from flowing up my arm when I'm working, so that's very handy. I can also fold that under like that, and I have put a strap before hooking underneath that, Velcro it, hooked to the glove. So when I took my glove off, my glove would just hang, not fall off of me. Pretty easy. Now, it has two chest pockets with a snap flap. These are good deep pockets, come all the way to here. That's big enough to get something of good size in there. Now typically for me, I normally carry things like my cell phone or something in this top right pocket. Easy to get to right quick and easy. In the top left one is where my first aid kit would go. For my personal first aid or whatever, or something like that would go into this pocket. So I always knew where it was always on me. Eyeglasses and stuff will go into that one. Down here at the hand, you also have a flap that covers up the hand, but it will open up, go inside, and leave you with open pockets that way, so you can unsnap, put the flap in, and now you got pockets to stick your hands in, like that, for cold, etc. Like I said, the zipper works very easily, and if it gets out and gets a little sticky, take a little chapstick and put on it, and you're good to go. Now I can snap it against cold wind. I can pull the neck all the way up and completely seal up around my neck with that little flap. Pretty easy. That seals me up. Now, let me show you another feature of this. Along the back of the collar, there's a zipper. There's also two buttonholes. There's a separate hood you can get, a big old Arctic type hood that's got fur around it that went over the top and buttoned in, so you had a big hood if you needed it. This unzips, and then inside we have a hood. Now this hood on cold nights, when you're sitting there around a fire and you got that cold wind coming up behind you around your ears, this hood was designed to go over a combat helmet, and so it will even fit over Blackie's hat like that. Now I've got no wind coming around from the back, and I'm trapping warm air around here, and they're 2-cinch cords. This hood has another use, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. But like this, I've got, now I can also spray this and spray the whole jacket with silicone waterproofing to have it bead water if I want to turn it into a piece of rain gear. I didn't. I want it breathable in my heat down here. So I prefer it being breathable instead of water repellent. But I know guys who have done that, who've taken the spray garment silicone seal and coated it and made it shed water like a raincoat, especially this hood up here, so it can go over a hat, whatever. This hood can also be rolled up on the outside to tuck around the neck as like a comforter or something to protect the ears or whatever. I have put it on before like this and then put my hat on. Pull it up, put my hat on, and still have the hood around me to trap warm air around my ears and stuff like that on them cold days, and still have my hat or my helmet on, you know what I mean? Now, let me show you the other advantage to this hood. Okay, I take my jacket, I fold it over and just put one or two of the snaps in places sufficient. Keep from shifting so much. Okay, now laying it out flat, you take the arm, go across, take the arm, go across, take this, fold it up, fold it up, fold over, take the hood, and roll the entire jacket into the hood. That's a pillow. Now that's a good dense pillow for me to sleep on right there. I don't know how many times I've used this as a pillow, because I'm going to be getting into a heavy sleeping bag or whatever, right? So I convert my field jacket into my pillow for the night. It's a good thick pillow. I got it, and my head's keeping it warm. So tomorrow morning when I get up and I roll it back on to put on, it's warm. So my jacket's warm when I put it back on. Remember I said this was designed to be used in cold conditions. They make liners for it. And this is, think like the poncho liner. Same material sewed into, it's actually a little thicker than that, as a liner. Now there's a series of button holes on here and buttons that this goes into that, and at the sleeve end you have these little loops, and up inside the sleeve there's a button inside the sleeve. You'll never notice it wearing it, but that way you button these in. So this is a liner. Multiple liners can be put into the same jacket, so you guys up in cold country, you can put 2 or 3 of these liners in there and make this a very big jacket. Now you're going to have to hunt for the liner, but make sure you match the liner to the jacket. They come in sizes as well. So mine is a large regular, this is a large liner. Now I get to camp, and you're going to see this in a coming video where I'm going to show the poncho liner, the poncho and minimum kit in a cold weather camp. I did it the other night, but I still got to edit and get it to post, and it'll be posting soon. It got down to 36 that night. And all I'm using is a Ranger roll and a poncho, and that's it. I'm going to build a camp for you. But I'm wearing my field jacket, okay? And you're going to see when it gets time for bed, I'm going to take off and I'm going to pull the liner out of the jacket, okay? Because the liner can be worn separately. You put the liner on, and it has a couple of buttons that allow me to button it onto me like this. This is what I'm going to sleep in. So I take my outer coat off, and I put this liner back on, just the liner, and since the armpits are slit, I can lay, I can twist, I can whatever, and I don't have to worry about, you know, binding up in the night as I'm trying to sleep. It's an extra layer of insulation on me that's slicky, so I slide around in my blankets just fine, no problem. And I then fold up my jacket to become the pillow, and so I'm keeping it warm and keeping it handy, and I'm wearing this. So this one garment becomes 2 garments. This becomes a sleeping jacket for me to keep me warm at night. Now let me put the liner back into the jacket, and I'll show you what that looks like. Now, Easiest way to do it is simply put on the liner, put the jacket on, line up the buttons around on the inside edge right here, and you just button it in place. Just like that. The 3 buttons. 2 high, 1 low. And these buttons are on the inside. Now this jacket also has a drawstring inside that allows you to pull it up at the waist and keep that breeze from coming up your tail whenever you're standing and that cold wind's blowing around you. Real simple to do that. Don't cut the string short. What you want to do is you want to put it on, make sure it's comfortable around you, and then just tie it off in a knot. Then put on several layers of clothes, a nice big heavy set, and adjust it to that. Once you figure out this is the biggest I'm ever going to be possibly, then I'll trim the cord and get rid of any excess. But as you can see, it's on me and it's fixed. Now all I got to do is reach in the hole and button those buttons when I take it off, and it's on. It's got gussets in the back to allow you free movement to swing, so you can swing an axe or whatever, swing a machete with it. The collar stands up, or the collar will lay down just like that. Now if you'll remember, in the opening scenes of Rambo, the first movie, what is John J. Rambo wearing walking down the road? M65 field jacket. If you remember, in the opening of the original Terminator movie, whenever the nude Terminator walks up to the punk rock guys and one says, you know, nothing clean, everything in the wash, the clothes he takes away from them is an M65 field jacket. They put chainmail and stuff on to make it look more punk rock. This was the field jacket of the early 1980s. This is what all of us poor guys and wannabe guys and everything else, this was the jacket we wore going hunting, camping, canoeing, out there in the winter or whatever. It gave us such versatility. And with its ability to have the liner and put on multiple liners if I needed. In my original one, I had 3 liners. And when I first started my job of driving a truck and I was going way up north into severe cold country, I would put 2 liners in it and carry a 3rd. In case I had to get out and tarp a load or something in below zero conditions, I'd put an extra liner in my jacket. Now of course, there are better jackets. There are more modern jackets. This jacket that I'm wearing right here was made in 1968. And I've had it for 10 plus years, 15 years probably, to be honest, as a field jacket of camping and doing everything with it. It's still holding up. Yeah, there's a couple little wears and tears, but it's held up. Now these are still available in surplus. They're a little more pricey than it was whenever I bought them. And you can get modern reproductions of them that are being still made. You can find them on Amazon and eBay. So if you're looking for one, you can look around and find one. But take my advice. If you wear a large, get an extra large. Remember, this is going over your clothing. And so if I'm wearing correct clothing for the environment and the conditions, I should have layers on underneath it. So always go a size too big to make it fit properly. Okay, they're going to run a little large, but still, you'll be happy you did because it traps warm air pockets. Since I can draw up my sleeves tight, I can draw up my neck tight, I can draw up that waistband tight, that traps heat around my core, which is the important thing. Since I've got a liner that I can just pop out like that, become a sleep jacket. So when I crawl into my blankets, this rolls into the hood and becomes the pillow. This becomes the sleeping jacket. I have an extra layer of warmth on my torso. That's why the M65 is my field jacket of choice for going out and doing woodscraft, bushcraft, and camping in the winter and the fall. Hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe button before you go. And thank you very much for supporting my channel. Till next time, I'm Blackie wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.